Okay, we are back here on Flowframe. It's been a while, James. Life has kind of gotten in the way. We both have been doing some traveling and stuff, but we are back. Definitely some stuff to catch up on going on in the prediction market world. We had Trump visited China. Iran war is still going on. A lot of things heating up in the midterms. Let's just start diving into some of these markets. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen and pull up a just ki- to kind of give an update on the Iran situation. Let's see here. We're gonna pull up the Hormuz traffic market and see where that's at. So return to normal by May 30. No, let's do end of June. How about? So you can see kind of a slow grind down.
Mhm.
Um, I
Is
think with maybe a brief period of some optimism on May 7 that things were coming to an end, but since then,
Yeah, you get that
straight
that
down.
late April ceasefire, but then as those ships the volume didn't really go up much the next week, I think it all kept trending down there.
Yep, they keep going back and forth on proposals. Iran
Mm.
has a peace proposal. Trump won't like it. We'll have a proposal. They won't like it. Kind of a stalemate.
Yeah.
Kind of that what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely winding down to the part like the ceasefire and the nuclear deal that's getting proposed, and the US and Israel are just insisting that most weapon systems are incorporated into that deal, and Iran has very little incentive to do that yet. So I think we're just seeing it just that stalemate just kind of get kicked down the road each week.
Yep. So here's the nuclear deal one. 2 weeks left in the month, 7% chance. Feels like there's no end in sight. This might be a good position to look at to park in some money. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
my I have got no positions long on that well into the later part of the year.
yeah, June a little bit higher, end of the year, higher yet. But but yeah, short term, really tough to get something like this done in 2, 3, 4 weeks for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I would say that it's the major, at least the major figureheads involved. I mean, Netanyahu, Trump, and the new Ayatollah. Everybody kind of needs this war narrative right now
Yeah.
domestically, so that it's like there's that incentive, that last little push is not really there to get something done quickly. So I think we keep seeing it kind of that short term market get priced up a little bit, but then nothing is really changing except for escalation and failed talks. So like every one of these market dates we watch kind of tick up a little bit and then crash back down as the facts don't really change.
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like the overall, like, market and sentiment isn't maybe just today is starting to price in some of, like, the oil shock and things that how this is, like, starting to really extend a lot longer than everyone was thinking. Because if you look at oil's up today, I think, we have the summer, like, travel season, oil prices, I think there's probably starting to be some pressure on Trump to, like, kind of wrap some of this stuff up to relieve oil prices. This is a new tool on Flowframe. I just want a quick show. It's a Chart Studio and Analytics tab. You can type in, like, describe a chart you want to see, and it uses all of our back end data to, uh, put up a chart of the prediction markets compared with traditional finance, and or you can do multiple prediction markets side by side, all different things you can see just to see some correlations and some trends, patterns. So this is you can clearly see here the odds of Hormuz going back to normal by the end of May is the blue line, and then the oil price is the orange line here,
Mhm.
inversely correlated, as you can clearly see.
I think you can see
So,
the exact moment Spirit went out of business.
yeah.
Those lines cross each other.
Yeah, yeah, see, you starting to see some of those, yeah, effects
Mm,
trickle through the economy.
right.
Inflation was a little bit higher, this last print was a little bit hot, so and this, has effects on the midterms as well, right? So as those are some markets we'll look at later. So how
Mhm.
the economy is doing and everything, sentiment. Another quick thing to point out, you can turn on smart money trades. So we got like the top 86 profitable traders on Polymarket all time. It shows some of their buys and sells on the chart here. Uh, so kind of cool information to look at. So um, let's pop over back to Polymarket here. So Trump is just returning from his visit to China, I believe.
Mhm.
And so that was, this is a huge event. First time that I think any sitting US president has visited since Trump went there in 2017. Am I right there?
I think so. I
Yeah.
I think he was in Southeast Asia last year, but I don't think he stopped in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all of the tech CEOs were along with him. I think they were
Mhm.
hoping to make some sort of deals, announce something something big, but so far it seems like not much has come out of the meeting. There's been pretty vague general things. Have you
Mhm.
heard anything?
Yeah, I mean, the reporting that's been coming out last night and this morning is just about how vague it is. About they both camps have said that they're working on general trade stability and peace in the region, but nobody's really said anything. The one thing that it seems like a lot of pundits weren't prepared for or didn't realize the shock that it was going to be was that Xi and Trump both came out and said that in the context of Iran that it was unacceptable for Iran to have a nuclear weapon at all, which then immediately downstream started affecting oil prices because we just looked at the
Oh,
Strait
right.
thing. So that
Yep.
was a pretty immediate response to just that posturing without any official anything other than both leaders said it.
Yeah.
But as of now, that's been the biggest thing I think that's come out
I
of the
th-
top.
I think you're right. Yeah. Uh Maybe more will come out, but who knows what they all discussed. Uh there's also a market on Kalshi for what will Trump announce as part of his China trip. So some and so then there's a big list here, Boeing aircraft purchases, soybean purchases, rare earth, China Board of Trade, oil purchases, etc. And some of these are pretty high yet. So th- I guess market is expecting some announcements to come out at some point, right? Is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, when I first saw the market title, I imagined like, ah, soybean's going to be on there because as
Yep.
Trump's trying to do some domestic damage, the how the administration kind of through a couple of indirect channels kind of sold out soybean farmers last year. I think
Yep.
they're launching a mass campaign to try to resurrect the GOP midterm outlook by giving some giving some airtime to those issues and trying to reassure farmers, especially in the country, about things like that. And soybean was the big issue last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot about soybeans being from the Midwest USA here, so that's a big issue. Any oil purchases? Not a lot of liquidity in some of these. Like with the spreads are
Mhm.
pretty wide, so some definite uncertainty on what, if anything, is going to be announced there. But let's see. All right. So you mentioned kind of some of the midterm things and stuff. So
Mhm.
let's pop over to some of those markets and see how things are looking here. Let me pull that up. So we'll start on Polymarket. with which party will win the House in 2026. What are you
Mm.
seeing here?
I mean, it's been the trend since late last year where, I mean, the Dems have a clear advantage as the Trump administration is just approval ratings tanking, and now with the accelerated conflict in Iran, it's again, it's wildly unpopular, even
Mhm.
among some Republicans, but a lot of centrists and undecided, and then of course Dems. And it's been really interesting, and it's kind of it's been coming to a head in the courts too. We've been watching with the Supreme Court essentially gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act 2 weeks ago. A
Okay.
little backstory on that, just because like it's dense legal theory, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's Section 2 guaranteed certain stipulations for minority voters in primarily southern states that had bad track records of
Okay.
disenfranchising minority votes. And what the Supreme Court decision a couple weeks ago, I mean, over the last 20 years, they've been kind of chipping away at it. And what this made it allowed states to do is bring arguments before courts when they want to redistrict and redraw maps to make the claim that eliminating minority votes in their states could be purely political, not racially based.
Mm.
And this case functioned on the fact that ensuring that minority vote wasn't completely cut out of the new maps. It was actually argued that was a form of race-based discrimination. So the Supreme
Oh,
Court has allowed from the passage of the Voting Rights Act in the 60s till now. It's always put the political voice above that issue, but now there's didn't didn't with any amount of certainty say that one was supreme to the other, but they are
mhm.
allowing states to bring that those maps forward, or bring challenges to maps that are already in place. And then the Republican states who largely benefit from that have started using uh, political affiliation as a stand-in for a lot of racial redistricting. And it
Mm.
looks like the court is, at least at the Supreme Court level, is going to let that ride for now. We didn't get a really affirmative decision on most of it, but as of right now, it doesn't
Mhm.
function. So a bunch of states immediately raced to start redrawing some mid census maps. So you like Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, and Ohio. They're already in like they've already passed the pre-ruling phase at the state level. Florida passed a new map like 4 hours, I think, after the ruling. It was something like wildly quickly. Tennessee has a special session, and then you that comes up against you have California and Utah, which are Democratic states who have done it. I mean, California, they made five. I think they got five new districts out of it. In Utah, one, but that was procedural. It wasn't even through a Democratic-led effort. But and then just last week, we get the Virginia Supreme Court overruled the Democratic redistricting. So it's not a certain causal flow in either direction for this redistricting, but it does seem to benefit the GOP slightly.
Okay.
Like in theory, they could be if every new map that's in the process right now comes through. In theory, the GOP gets 13 new districts
Oh,
essentially. In practice, it's probably closer to five. They're
okay.
probably, I mean, they're building GOP leaning districts in their states. They're not building like surefire, like absolutely. And if they get those five districts, like that's probably nowhere near enough to fend off the blue wave in November.
Okay.
But the important thing is that if Trump and the Trump administration and the GOP at large maintains their unpopularity right now, you get one big diplomatic victory in Iran, and that could change quickly.
Right.
Is that math? So they have say they get 5 or 7 new districts, and their Trump's approval starts going up, those they could be really important. It could come down to 5 or less districts for control of the House, which then is a proxy market essentially for does Trump get impeached, which just needs a simple House majority to start those proceedings. And both Kalshi and excuse me, Calshi and Polymarket, their rules are just articles are filed because that's technically what impeachment is. It's not about
Yeah,
conviction. So that's really interesting to watch. And even past 2026, the implications for 2028 are huge.
that sounds very interesting. So, did I have that right here? Does this does this market is this are these the redistricting maps that you're talking about? Are these the markets on each
Yeah,
state?
so I was looking through those. Like some of them have a little bit of volume, but I don't know
Yeah.
there's like 100 of them too.
Yeah, Utah has a decent amount of volume. That's but the other ones look pretty low.
Mhm.
Virginia, Alabama, Indiana. Yeah, so which ones were the big ones to watch, did you say? Was it let's see,
We
Virginia,
got the ones currently in process are sorry, Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, and
Texas,
Ohio. Mhm.
Texas, Missouri.
Mhm.
Okay.
Texas is pretty certain to go through. North Carolina, if they're pricing it like it's pretty certain. I haven't looked
Yeah,
at that.
very certain here,
Yeah.
98%. So that's very interesting because I mean, we're in May. I mean, a lot can happen, kind of like you said, with diplomatic victories or some great deals that he made with China that he hasn't announced yet that can change some sentiment
Yeah.
pretty quickly. I mean, so I yeah, personally I wouldn't be buying the the Democratic Party at this price. Republican is maybe a more interesting risk return there. Is that kind
Mhm.
of what you're seeing too?
Yeah, I'm actually a little more interested in the Senate race because
Oh, okay.
I think it affects the House race too.
Yep.
The the sensitivity will apply to both of them, and like
Okay.
there's a I think both Calshi and Polymarket have got like balance of power in
Oh,
the
yep.
in
Pull that one
Congress.
up. Yep. Here we go.
I think at this point Trump would need a pretty amazing rally, or the Dems would have to just step on their own feet so much to lose the House. I mean, I think it's possible, but it would be an epic collapse. Senate is a lot more toss up and with but has the same exact sensitivity.
Okay. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Dem sweep at 44 is probably a little high.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can see it coming
Interesting.
down. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That would have been a good. It got up to 53%.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good info, to know, to watch the maps and the redistricting and things. I've never heard of, like is that a regular occurrence that, like, states start to, like, remap
N-
things like that?
Not on a non-census year. So that's part of what the US Census does is it
Oh,
figures out
yeah,
where people live where.
right, yep,
Redistricting between censuses, which is done every 10 year, like 2020 was the last one, 2030 will be the next one. That's not
okay,
something that's been done until Trump last year insisted that Texas do it because they wanted to pad the House, and then California said, "Well, if you do it, we're going to do it." California has passed. Texas, it looks like will pass, and it's just been this
gotcha,
kind of like arms race all of a sudden based on this thing that was, I guess, essentially was just kind of like a unwritten rule handshake agreement that you don't do it
Oh.
during the decade, but, once somebody started, everyone's gotta do it now because you gotta cancel it out and jockey for power there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Uh, Interesting. Okay. Staying on the politics topic here, I just wanted to share like what my a bet that I placed this week was on the Los Angeles mayor winner. So I bet on Spencer Pratt no around this, yeah, 74, 75 cents market. Basically my thought is yeah, I mean just him winning in a very, beating a Democrat incumbent in a Democrat city, quite quite the challenge. He's had some awesome like advertisements and things like that that I think, and maybe it has like kind of gone viral a little bit. That's I think boosting him, but like when it comes down to it, his his support coalition is one that probably is the least that turns out the least at elections, the kind of the male mid, 40 and under males. He doesn't have kind of broad support, so I think it's going to be tough. What do you have any opinions on that?
Uh, I mean, my anecdotal opinion as somebody who lived in Los Angeles for a while is
Yeah,
I
oh, that
don't
I would love, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it's this election cycle, but I can easily see it being in the next couple that LA does elect Republican mayor.
Okay,
I
interesting.
think
Okay.
yeah, I think the money interest and the dynamics of LA City, I think will shift that way eventually. I don't think California will, but I can
Yeah.
see it.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't size it so big, so I won't be too upset if I lose. But but
Mm.
yeah, that's good. That's interesting to know. That's good. That's some good notes from someone who lived there. Okay.
Yeah, it's
And
more conservative than you think it is.
yeah,
It's interesting.
because because I also, as I was doing my research, like Karen Bass isn't like the most liked person.
No,
um, from what I was reading, there's been a bunch of issues with the fires and other things.
no.
But okay, well, I'll be tracking that one closely. Maybe we'll have an update next week or as it gets closer because we'll know like right at the here in early June, kind of how it's gonna go, right?
Yeah, somebody will pull away. Pretty
Someone will
confident.
pull away. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, let's jump to a mention market here while we're on Kalshi. I'm looking at there's some interesting ones like Trump has a Fox News interview tonight at 5. That's gonna be one that will be very interesting to watch. Some of them are already like at 99%. So as you can see, the news cycle is still heavily Iran. That's even with the China visit and everything, it's still China or Iran, Iran, Iran. When's that gonna end? How's that going? Uh, and, and then JD Vance has an interview as well tomorrow. That would be Saturday. Let's see, where's that one at? Here, right here. So tomorrow morning. I'm gonna pull up the matrix for this one on Flowframe and just kind of see on the mentions hub, kind of see where we're at. So again, you can just paste the Kalshi link right here. It gives you all the words, and then view matrix and select JD Vance. So the most recent one we have is from his. So he had a speech in Maine yesterday, and I don't think that one's uploaded in here yet. It will be shortly, but that's not factored in here yet. But so he's the fraud czar, and he's been talking a lot about fraud, Medicare fraud, kind of the fraud work that they've been doing. So I'm I'm assuming that that will be covered again. So yeah,
Yeah.
fraud. So if you look at you go back and look at the odds. So yeah, fraud's at 94% Democrat. California is a fraud angle, fraud angle. Biden, illegal alien. All of these are in his regular vocab. China, at 60% just with the recent visit, hard to imagine he doesn't get asked about that like a little bit. Uh let's see if anything else is standing out that I want to look at on the matrix. He's been hitting affordability quite a bit
Yeah, that's a good one.
lately because so the key there is like just the word afford comes
Mhm.
up a lot. Like, even if you're not talking about like, oh, making healthcare more affordable or whatever, it can come up when he's saying, we cannot afford to let illegal aliens, do this. Right. So like
Yeah,
the afford
it's a
part
useful
in
verb
there.
in a bunch
Yeah.
of contexts for sure.
Yeah. So I want to actually look at that, dig into that one a little bit, see how he's hit that one recently. So May 10, you could see where you were saving so much money where they can actually afford it. So that's the kind of the affordability angle. Not going to be able to afford. This was a healthcare event. So then let's see, yeah, prices afford. In Des Moines on May 5, they couldn't afford to buy a home. They couldn't afford their rent. Where they could finally afford their slice of the American dream. Wealthy enough to afford a Lamborghini.
Oh, okay. I was looking at Lamborghini. I'm like, what did I miss? Why is this a term?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a reference. So yeah, I wonder if he said it yesterday in Maine too. Oh, I should have had that uploaded. But yeah, that must be his new favorite line. So it still comes up most of the time when talking about
Mhm.
prices of things and stuff, but you can get some edge cases where it's like, yeah, we can't afford to let Iran have a nuclear weapon type of
Right.
statements too. So I could see myself being on affordability. And some of these are almost a sure thing.
Yeah.
Congressional Democrats, he says all the time. So I love Democrat for Vance because even if it's in the 80s or lower 90s, it's just always talking about congressional Democrats,
Mm.
this, that, and everything. So I don't know anything you're gonna be looking at for this one.
The only thing I've hopped on so far is election,
Yep.
because I think post, especially post China trip and post kind of pivoting away from Epic Fury and Iran, I think they're doing some damage control, and especially Vance. I think Vance is kind of rah-rahing at his stops for the midterms, but is also definitely starting to lay some groundwork for himself for 2028, and I think he wants to start making that connection more.
Yeah.
I just think it's a 29 right now. Yeah, it's what I bought it at. It's like I j- I think
It's
that's too low. I don't know if
that's
they put in the 80s or 90s, but
yeah.
30s is
29. I mean, you're buying a pretty common word in the 20s. It's a good risk reward, especially something I mean, it's in his look, he said it
yeah.
often recently, as soon as May 5, the last election, I said how these elections are going, uh, for us in this election. Yeah, so yeah,
And I always like
at that low
running
price.
I like running the positions through a screen of like how many different roads get to it. If
Yeah,
there's I mean he's got 10 reasons to talk about the election at every speaking engagement he has.
yeah,
That's why I like to put a little bit of a premium on those kind of terms.
right. And then some maybe let's see if I can find a no. here, there. Let's see what manufacturing is priced at. Yeah, let's see. No. Oh, there was one I was looking at earlier. It was shut down. Oh, so yeah, spread is super wide. Not a lot of volume in this market yet, only 7,000. So wide spreads, but I don't see how he gets to the shutdown angle on here with China, Iran, fraud, all the main, midterms.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how he gets to shut down, unless the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. I don't know. Let me just quick look at that on Flowframe.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
Again, in the 90s, I guess it's not as appealing, but I was hoping to maybe see it in the lower 80s or something on no. So let's
Mhm.
see.
That would be one I would maybe look to scoop up after the event starts.
Yeah.
That seems
So
like
this
one.
isn't Yeah, so this is interesting. At least according to the transcripts I have, he has not hit shutdown in a like even during the like the government shutdown. Uh I mean, we're at no's across the board here. I seems like that wouldn't be accurate, but I mean, maybe I that's
Yeah.
um hmm.
I mean, it makes sense to distance themselves from it at this point.
I'm gonna probably set some bids on that one in the 80s and just kind of see if I can get some fills overnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, nice. Um, any other markets on your mind that you've been looking at? You want to cover?
No, only thing I've really been looking at recently is I've added a little more to my US Iran nuclear deal no position.
Yeah,
I think people I think with the proposals going back and forth last weekend, I think the no price dipped a little bit and I jumped on that because I mean nothing has really materially changed. No incentives have rearranged or anything like that. Another round of peace talks or deal talks fell completely apart. So that dipped down a
yeah,
little bit. I am like in the know on U.S. Iran nuclear deal going into the year.
yeah. Although you think it's pretty unlikely, even like the whole year.
Yeah, or I think it. I mean, I don't think it's nearly as likely moving towards the end
Yeah,
of the year as the prices are showing. I
yeah.
mean, 70 or no, 50.
52%.
Yeah, 50.
Polymarket was in the 70s.
Yeah, Polymarket seems to be getting more volume and a little more surgical trading on this stuff now. Like,
Yeah, Polymarket has always been mm, sharper on the geopolitics
yeah,
markets, and sometimes the pricing difference is because of the resolution rules and stuff, but
yeah,
it it definitely has more geopolitical market trading volume. Um, typically 61% chance
yeah,
here, well, 52 on Kalshi. Um, I just want to, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you there. It just seems like we're going nowhere fast. And
yeah.
if
There's
I
no
yeah,
no reason.
if like they've gone back and forth so many times that like what and they can't agree, what is left for them to like compromise on or whatever that they haven't talked about already. And
Yeah,
yeah,
they're in. I mean, the Iranian government's in an existential war, and then you have
yeah,
Trump and Netanyahu are definitely their political lives are somewhat tied to the resolution, but
yeah,
and, and a compromise is probably going to be weak for everybody involved. So prolonging, not capitulating on core issues that each party has made central to what they're trying to achieve. Is I mean, I don't think it's not possible. I just think it's way less likely in what I'm seeing priced at.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. I agree. All right, nice. Well, that was a good update on some of the markets going on here. Check out Prediction Labs Discord again. We are posting our trades and analysis in there, and check out flowframe.xyz as well. Adding new analytics and data and research and tools all the time. So check that out. If you're trading prediction markets, there's not many better sites to get your research and data than Flowframe and Prediction Labs. So, all right, we will catch you guys next week.
Take it easy.